Let's talk about dysautonomia. This one condition is by far the number one cause of nearly every single chronic condition out there, from gut issues to immune challenges to behavior and emotional challenges in kids. But it is entirely missed, or at best, misdiagnosed by medical doctors still today. Even if they've heard of it, they don't really understand it, and most importantly, how to help it. So, parents, this video is for you. If your child struggles with a myriad of multitude of chronic health issues that are negatively affecting multiple systems, their sleep, their gut, their immune system, their behavior, their emotions, their nervous system, and more. In this video, we're going to explain nearly every single chronic health condition we see out there in kids today is linked to one thing. No matter how many medical doctors and specialists you have on your team and how many medical tests and exams have been run, they will not find this one major link that causes so many health struggles in kids. You simply don't know how to look for it in the first place. So now listen, before you do anything else, I want you to hit that like and share button so we can tell other moms and dads about this. I want to share with you a story of our buddy Will. So when we first met Will was dealing with some major league emotional regulation issues to the point where he was having significant emotional meltdowns, tantrums, like explosive type stuff, 7 days a week, at least an hour at a time, oftentimes becoming aggressive, putting holes in the walls, all kinds of stuff. So when we first met his mom, right, it was a major league stress. She didn't know what else to do. She tried quite literally everything and she'd run out of options. She'd talked to every specialist, every doctor, and everybody was pointing towards having her do meds. And she just didn't want to because she'd done enough research to realize that meds are not the right solution and oftentimes can do more harm for him in the long term. So she said, I want to try this because I feel like if we can address what's happening, what the root cause is, then we can actually help him. So we had Will come in. We went through and did his entire Insight Neuroscan set and we looked at them. And what stood out was the level of dysautonomia this poor boy was dealing with. His nervous system was living with a sympathetic nervous system pegged all the way on, and his parasympathetic vagus nerve system essentially out of the equation. He had no slack to handle stress whatsoever. So when we went through and decided on making a care plan for Will, we had to put a couple of different things into play. Number one is we had to have enough time over a long enough period of time to get his brain and his nervous system so that it crossed the finish line of transitioning to calm. So what we did is we decided that we were going to adjust Will 3 times per week for a period of 6 months. Now, guys, that might sound like a long time, but when you've got a child that has been dealing with explosive behaviors for nearly 10 years, 6 months, small in the grand scheme of things. Here is what happened. And I want to share this with you, and I want you to take this all in. Mom said that even within the first month, there were improvements, but there were big tipping points that we hit. At week 6, Will had a major breakthrough. So at our 12th visit of every care plan, we have progress exam. So second progress exam of talking to Will's mom, she shares with us that at week 6, there was this majorly turning point moment for Will, and everything began to really level out after that. So there was a point where they were getting ready for church, and Will had a particular bow tie that he always wore to church every single Sunday. And if that bow tie was not clean, it turned into the meltdown of all meltdowns, oftentimes punching walls, slamming doors, screaming, yelling, and literally losing his mind for at least an hour or more every single time it's happened. This particular Sunday, Will's up getting ready for church. Mom and dad hear him yell down and say, Mom, where's my bow tie? I can't find my bow tie. Mom has one of those moments where she realizes, oh no, it's dirty. And she and dad looked at each other and said, oh no, it's about to happen. They knew that things were about to explode for Will. So they literally did rock, paper, scissors to see who gets the privilege of going to tell him. Mom, like it seems like always happens, loses and has to go upstairs and tell him about this. So she goes up there and she says, hey, bud, just want to let you know your bow tie is dirty. You're going to have to pick another one. And then she waited. And guess what happened? He looks at her and says, oh, okay. And he went about his business and he got another bow tie. Mom said that she waited in the doorway for probably 5 minutes, jaw hanging down, because it was the very first time in his entire life that Will had not exploded when this situation occurred. She said, Dr. Scott, I literally waited for the other shoe to drop because I just didn't know what to do because this had never happened before. And from that point on, it was a turning point. Something so deeply rooted in Will's nervous system that it always created this big response, all of a sudden was different. because that dysautonomia, the dysregulation, that overly active superdominant sympathetic nervous system for the first time didn't take over. His frontal lobe, prefrontal cortex, vagus nerve, parasympathetic system kicked back in and it pulled him back. And this really important turning point showed that his nervous system was starting to re-regulate itself. It was beginning to balance the way that it was supposed to. So that when a situation occurred that wasn't what he wanted, he shouldn't have a meltdown. He shouldn't freak out. He should be able to calmly handle the situation and move forward and stay logical. And this is what she saw. And after this point, it was a snowball of momentum going in that direction. Now, granted, we still needed the time, and he still had some times where he lost his temper. But from that point on, the amount of time when he would have a meltdown was significantly shorter. It got progressively shorter to the point where we started at an hour plus, sometimes as long as 4. To by the time that we finished the care plan, he was not having meltdowns at all. Like, it was normal kid stuff. If he got upset for a moment, and then it was over, the way that it's supposed to be. But what we watched happen on our neuroscans is we watched all of that stress, all that tension, all that dysautonomia, all that fight or flight response calm down. We watched all of those things within his nervous system that he'd been holding on to go away. We watched his heart rate variability normalize. We watched an EMG scan, which is a measure of energy. And by the way, on a scale of 0 to 100, which is 100 is the normal range, okay? Will came in measuring 600. His energy levels were 6 times normal. Now, you guys may not understand what this means right now, but on this type of a test, when you have a child that's getting that much energy, no wonder his nervous system was always ready to explode because he was getting bombarded. Imagine having a rock concert, the level of Metallica or Anthrax playing in the background in your brain, even if you can't hear it all the time. But his nervous system was always on edge, always aroused, because that's what he lived with every second of his life. So it makes sense when this is what he was dealing with, why he would have these kind of responses. And what's cool is that now tracking that time down the road, he's never gone backwards. As we tapered him down in care from 3 to 2 to 1 to maintenance, he's never gone backwards. He's had normal stress responses, period. He's a normal boy who does not have temper tantrums or meltdowns. Now, moms and dads, dysautonomia presents with a wide variety of symptoms and challenges, including but not limited to fatigue, lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, anxiety, headaches, gut issues, suppressed immune function, and more. Therefore, dysautonomia is often the answer and explanation parents have been searching for to explain why their child struggles with a myriad of health challenges, and despite seeing multiple medical specialists, still haven't found the help and results they want to need. Dysautonomia is a neurological condition that results in major imbalances within the autonomic nervous system and is linked to an overstressed and overactive sympathetic nervous system. Subluxation and the vagus nerve dysfunction or disorders are really at the root. Other major systems most negatively affected by dysautonomia are gut and digestion, respiratory and immune systems, motor and musculoskeletal systems, as well as mental and emotional regulation. Neurologically focused chiropractic adjustments focus entirely on addressing subluxation and dysautonomia, working to restore balance to the nervous system without drugs or other medical therapies that come with a whole host of negative side effects. So patients receiving neurologically focused chiropractic care report improvements in sleep, digestive function, immune response, motor planning, behavior and emotional regulation, and so much more. If you're ready to have your child assessed for dysautonomia and subluxation by one of our amazing docs here at Elite Family Chiropractic, go to www.elitefamilychiros.com to learn more. If you're still doing research and finding out more information, you can go to our website, elitefamilychiros.com, and you can go to the blog section where we have lots of research, lots of blog articles discussing this so that you can continue to go and learn all of the important information necessary to really understand this.